We're going from 0 to 60 with Peter Pan, so let's get cracking! Hello all my explorers and welcome back to Lauren's Adventures Out There. And if you are new, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. My name is Lauren and I'm with Castle, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. We do unboxings and hauls, pins, box swaps, Disney news, Disney reviews, and more. So if that sounds fun to you, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post. It really helps your favorite content creators know that you appreciate them, and we in turn appreciate that. So we are continuing our series from 0 to 60, in which we look at the films of the Walt Disney Animation Studios in chronological order. And today we are going to be talking about the classic film Peter Pan. Based on a play and novel by J.M. Barrie, Peter Pan tells the story of a boy who never grew up. And in Victorian-era London, Wendy Darling tells stories of Peter Pan to her brothers John and Michael. Now, this irks her father. He just finds them tiresome. And when he and his wife are trying to go out, he gets very frustrated and decides that it's time for Wendy to grow up and move out of the nursery. On that night, Wendy and her brothers are visited by Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, and they take them to Neverland so that Wendy can be the mother to the Lost Boys. It's there that they see mermaids and pirates and Indians. The pirates are headed by the notorious Captain Hook, who will do anything to destroy Peter Pan. And he nearly does. But at the end of it, Wendy decides that it's time for her to grow up, time to go back to London, and time to move out of the nursery. The big thing I'll say about Peter Pan is that the animation is dazzling. Now, on this view, I watched specifically Peter Pan and his flying. Now, it just looks so effortless and makes me believe that a boy could fly. Like, if I were watching this back in the 50s, I would be so amazed. Like, you know, right now we're so used to CGI and all of the special effects that we have today. But looking at it through the eyes of somebody from that era, I would imagine that this film would have looked magnificent. He's lithe, yet he's got weight, and it's just, I really challenge you to watch his flying the next time you watch Peter Pan, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But the best animation comes from Captain Hook, and especially with his interactions with Smee and Peter Pan. It's really some of Frank Thomas's finest work. And Frank Thomas is one of the 9 old men of Disney. So it's very legendary talent working on this character. And it's just chef's kiss. Beautiful. And as always, I need to bring up the work of Mary Blair. It's her work that makes Neverland so magical. The colors, the shapes, it's just so beautiful. And I'll bring up one specific image. One of the most beautiful images is of Peter Pan spotting Captain Hook with Smee and Tiger Lily. The sky is dark, but the sun is out, yet it conveys that something sinister is going to be happening. It's just really wonderful work, and I'll make sure to post that here and a couple other pictures from Mary Blair's work on Peter Pan. Sadly, this would be her last major work on a Walt Disney Animation Studios film. She went on to work with Walt Disney Imagineering, work on a couple things like It's a Small World and that mural at the Contemporary. So she still went on to do some great things, but this would be the last major film that we would see her work. Okay, so now on to something that really bugs me, and that is what makes the red man red. It's just full of every stereotype of a Native American in this film, and I'm just surprised because Disney has made such a to-do about Song of the South, but hasn't excised the scene from Peter Pan. Not that I'm into censorship. I actually don't believe it should be taken out, but I do believe that there should be more education being done about this scene, and that it deserves more than tiny print on Disney Plus. I feel like there should be somebody like Leonard Maltin or somebody of that gravitas who could explain to people the times and how cowboys and Indians were very big during that day, just for people to get a historical context, because viewing it today, it's cringeworthy. Like, I can't even sit through it. Like, I have to forward through it. On this viewing, I did view it again, and yes, it's just cringeworthy. Speaking of music, though, Peter Pan does have some really great films. From the uplifting You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly, to the triumphant Following the Leader. There is a song in there, though, that I feel is so underappreciated, and that was Your Mother and Mine, sung by Wendy to the Lost Boys. It's such a sweet song, and I know that Catherine Beaumont doesn't have the greatest voice, but it's just so innocent and wonderful, and I always get kind of choked up listening to it. It's a shame that Peter Pan didn't receive any Oscar nominations. I would have at least nominated You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly. I'm really surprised about it. It also received very lukewarm response at the box office when it originally came out. It's kind of like what happened to a lot of the films in the 50s. Cinderella was great, but then Alice didn't do well, Peter Pan didn't do well. And at one time, Walt Disney was almost ready to shut down animation by the time of Sleeping Beauty, because the films were not doing as well. And it's hard to believe that these films didn't do well during the time, because they're such enduring classics to us. And I'm glad about that. The only thing that I wish is that we would get more education about the what makes a red man red. I think that this would be a good teaching opportunity for parents. But other than that, it's such a wonderful film, and I really enjoy watching it, especially the animation, and especially Mary Blair's work. Anyway, that is it for today. What do you think about Peter Pan? Is this one of your favorite films, or do you think it's overrated? Let me know in the comments below. If you had fun today, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below. Visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you later. Bye!